5 trendy handbags in my collection I think are classic that might be worth investing in. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Celesta. We talk about all things luxury shopping and handbags. If you love those things, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do post videos every week. So I'm sure you guys have heard this before. I used to only buy classic handbags. It really wasn't until like growing on social media and posting more consistently where I started buying more trendy handbags, and it was because you guys wanted to see the trendy handbags. I used to only buy classic handbags because I wanted to make sure that I was going to use something 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe something I want to pass on to my kids. I really wanted to make sure that this was going to stay in my collection for a while. I didn't want to get really trendy handbags that are going to be hot for 1 minute, and then the next time you turn around and then there's going to be a next trendy handbag that everyone's buying and everybody wants to get their hands on. I think also, to be completely transparent with you guys, because I have a larger platform now, a larger audience, I am able to buy and sell handbags a lot easier than I was prior to being on social media. So prior to being on social media, I probably sell to like Fashion File or maybe in Facebook groups or just sell them by myself, and it was a lot harder to do that versus now. If I do decide that I want to sell a trendy handbag, it's a lot easier to sell in that sense too. So these are the 5 trendy handbags in my collection. Technically 4 because the other one I purchased, but it is not here yet, so stay tuned for that. But we will be talking about all 5 handbags in my collection that are trendy, but personally I think are classic handbags for that brand. So starting off with the Prada Crystal re-edition. I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I do think for sure the regular re-edition shoulder bag is going to stick around. I think that it's not going to be as much of a trendy item. I think it's just going to be one of those like going out bags or running errand bag that people kind of just like throw over their shoulders. So you're going to see it a lot, similar to the Neverfull, but I don't think it's going to be as hot anymore. The reason why I named this one a classic bag, especially in my collection, is number one, I freaking love this bag. I don't think I could love a bag so much because I've gotten like my Neverfull, my Speedy, like all of those classic bags that I told myself were classic bags that I should get. And it didn't spark as much joy as when I got this bag. Granted, this bag is quite extra, and I, as a Leo, am very extra. So I feel like this just fits really well with my personality, and I like that you can dress this up and dress it down. The reason why I say it's a classic for me is because I see this being as my like going out bag or like a fun event bag for quite some time. Even if this bag isn't super popular or trendy anymore, I still think I'm going to be using this bag because it's not super popular where everybody has the crystal re-edition. It still makes a statement, and for that reason, it's going to stay in my collection for a while, I think. The next bag I think is a classic is the Dior Book Tote. So I feel like this might be a little bit different than the crystal re-edition in the sense that I don't think this is a classic in my collection, but I do think this is a classic for the brand. Dior has kind of gone through a few identity crisis. I feel like they never can stick to one logo. They're always coming out with new design, discontinuing old designs, and something about them constantly coming out with new patterns for the Dior Book Tote. They have a new size that came out maybe 6 months ago. Just something about them constantly adding to this style, this line. I think that this is going to be around for quite some time. This bag is quite expensive for a fabric bag, and I've said that quite a few times before, and I don't know that it's necessarily worth it for being, I think it's like $3,350, $3,500, something like that now. I don't know that it's worth it, but I do know that this bag is beautiful. I love how this looks. I love how it matches most of my outfits, and I generally feel like joy using it. So I don't know that this is going to be a classic in my collection compared to the Prada Crystal bag, where I do see that being a classic in my collection. I do think that the Dior Book Tote is a classic for Dior. It almost feels like right now Dior kind of has these 3 classic bags that they're pushing. It's the saddle bag, the Lady Dior, and the Book Tote. They have other styles like the Bobby bag, the Caro, the Montaigne, but I feel like those aren't as prominent. They're not pushing those as much compared to these 3 styles. So I do think that this is a classic for Dior. The next bag we have is the Gucci Dionysus. I think this is a little bit of both a classic for the brand and also a classic in my collection. I love using this bag specifically for like fall, winter. I haven't used this bag too much for summer, but I love using this bag for kind of the fall, winter seasons. I feel like this looks better with like a leather jacket or just kind of darker colors in general versus in the summer and spring. I'm usually wearing like pastels. So I feel like in that sense, this is a great bag for me in my collection. It's a little bit more of an edgier bag. This, I feel like with the clasp here, it's kind of edgy, and I don't have very many edgy bags, any of that like cool girl, don't really care aesthetic, and I feel like this is a great bag for that. I love wearing this bag, especially with like a leather jacket, leather pants. I feel like, and then you throw on like a sweater, and it's just so easy and effortless, and the bag really can speak for itself. But I also think that this bag is a classic for the brand. I know this bag was very popular, I would say in like 2016, 2017, that time frame, around the same time frame as the Marmont. It didn't gain as much popularity as the Marmont, which is why I feel like people are not as quick to cancel the bags like they are to cancel the Marmont, if that makes sense, right? So because this wasn't as popular as the Marmont, this is kind of the underdog. I feel like this is not a super popular style with Gucci anymore. They have kind of come out with other styles like the Jackie, the Diana, that I do think are nice bags. I could see them discontinuing the Marmont style pretty soon, coming out with a different logo, pushing a very similar style to the Marmont, but like it's a different bag, right? Versus for this, I could see it staying in Gucci's collection for quite some time, especially with the clasp. It's not screaming Gucci. The bag is screaming Gucci because of the logo and the monogram, but like the Gucci monogram's not going anywhere. So I really like this bag. I like the size that I have. I think this is pretty similar to like the Chanel medium classic flat, maybe the small, but I think closer to the medium. So it fits quite a bit of stuff. It is very heavy, so I'll have you guys, like, I'll warn you guys on that. I do think that this is a classic for my collection, as long as like kind of I'm still wearing like leather pieces. I think this would kind of clash with denim, but that's a personal opinion. And I think as long as those are kind of in style, like that style is still in style, I think this could be a classic in my collection. Along with, I think this is a classic for Gucci. I don't think that this is as hyped up as the Marmont, so I don't think that they're gonna discontinue it and phase it out as quickly as they would potentially for the Marmont bag. The next bag on my list is the Pelen Numero 10, the number 10. This is on the more affordable price range. You guys know I love to talk about like luxury designer, but also have quite a few of affordable luxury price point brands as well in my collection. And this, I think, is a classic. This bag is probably one of the most popular Pelen bags, especially like seeing on TikTok, seeing all the influencer girlies have this bag. This is a very, very popular style. I do think that this is a classic in my collection because of how many different ways you can wear the bag. You can wear this bag as a shoulder bag, you can wear it as a crossbody, you can wear it across your chest as a bum bag, and this bag comes with 2 different straps, so you can like wear so many different ways. Because of this, I think this is gonna be a classic in my collection and for a lot of people's collection too, because granted, like this is a black bag. The shape is a little bit unique, and I don't know that like, you know, crescent shaped bags are gonna stick around forever, but you can always just wear this bag as a crossbody bag or wear it as a shoulder bag. I don't think it's gonna look out of style. This also doesn't have a ton of logos on it, so it's really just, it's a black bag. It fits all your stuff. Pelen has been growing a lot, and I remember when I first started following them, they had very different styles, and they've kind of phased out some of those styles and come out with these styles. So I don't know if they're going to start phasing out some of their styles like they have in, you know, a few years ago. But I think for the time being, I definitely see this continuing to be in their collection. A lot of people are buying this. A lot of people want to buy this bag, and I am very, very glad to have this bag. Okay, last but not least, I don't have this bag, but this was purchased and is on its way to me. And I really think that this bag is a classic. I purchased the Celine Triomphe. I had a friend in Europe who's spending a few months there and was like, hey, is there anything I can pick up for you before I come back to San Francisco? And I was like, oh, if it's not too much to ask, I was gonna get this anyways. She was like, yeah, no problem. So keep an eye out, an unboxing will be coming soon, but I do think this bag is a classic. This is a very similar style to the Celine box bag. Really the only thing different is the logo. I could see eventually Celine phasing out this logo probably in 5 to 10 years, but at the end of the day, it's a black shoulder bag, right? Like I can dress this up, I can dress this down. There's so many ways that I can style this. In my head, this is how I justified it. So I'm very excited to have this. I know a lot of people have been buying this style, like the Triumph style in general, the belts, the bags. There are some people that are gonna say that it's gonna eventually become the new Gucci belt. But I don't know. I feel like Celine is still kind of more of the understated luxury in comparison to Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Like they're definitely not in those like 3 kind of top tier houses, I would say. It's not like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Chanel. So I feel like in that sense, they're still a little bit more understated. So I don't know if they're ever going to get to the point of the Gucci Marmont belt hype, but I do really like this bag. I am very excited to use it. I feel like in general, it just looks very classy. I could definitely see this being a classic in my collection. Granted, I do have a lot of black bags, so if this one kind of comes in, I might have to get rid of another black bag, but I think this definitely is the start for Celine. I think the Triumph line is going to be a classic for Celine until there is probably a new creative director, in which then they will kind of phase out the older designs of the current creative director. So I definitely see this being a classic for the time being, at least in the next 5 years. I definitely see this staying in my collection. I will be giving a full review, full unboxing, first impressions, all of that when I get the bag, which should be in a few weeks. So I'm very, very excited. But yeah, that sums it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments which bags you think are classics in your collection, whether the internet thinks it's trendy or not. I'm very interested to see what your responses are. I'll leave another video for you guys here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!